Remember the footage from the 2008 presidential election? This is the new Black Panther Party members. They're standing in front of a polling location in Philadelphia, full uniform, wielding a police-style baton weapon. They are clearly trying to intimidate potential voters. They're calling people cracker. What are you doing here, cracker? Maybe these guys just really, really hate white people. Now that's presumptuous for me to say, but warning if you have kids in the room, this is pretty disturbing stuff. Samir Shabazz said that very thing directly. Here it is.
I hate white people. All of them. Every last iota of a cracker, I hate him. Because we're still in this condition, man. We didn't come out here to play today. There's too much serious business going on in the black community to be out here sliding through South Street with white, dirty, cracker whore on our arm. You want freedom? You're going to have to kill some crackers. You're going to have to kill some of their babies. Let us get our act together.
Well, a complaint was filed in the U.S. District Court in Philadelphia against Shamir Shabazz and Jerry Jackson. They're part of a national effort by the Black Panthers to station members at polls and intimidate. After the case was effectively won by the DOJ and then a default sentencing was imminent in May of 2009, the DOJ made the unheard of move to suddenly file a notice of voluntary dismissal of the lawsuit for the two defendants.
That's why. You know?
Wow, why would...
I mean, that's a weapon.
Really, what happened here? There had to be some reason for the sudden turnaround, right? Some logical explanation, because certainly our administration and our DOJ wouldn't accept this from white people, black people, Asian, it doesn't matter. You wouldn't accept this. This goes to the core of our republic. There has to be some reason for the flip, because seeing the video of the guy who wants to kill crackers and cracker babies standing with a club outside of a polling location really doesn't help the defense's case. So why drop it? Well, maybe it was a little favor for all of the support of the new Black Panthers that they gave Barack Obama during the election.
Or maybe it is because the United States Attorney General, the head of the Department of Justice, is black. And as a director of Obama's presidential campaign, Eric Holder also has ties to the Black Panthers.
And you know, black people always walk around with a chip on their shoulder because they're black, daring anybody to say anything to them. And our society has been hijacked and kidnapped and pushed into a corner where no one can say anything publicly about black people. If you do, they call you a racist and a bigot. So the true thoughts and true dialogue between white folk and black folk cannot go forward, because you cannot speak your mind or the truth without being called a racist if you say anything about the spirits of black folk, the habits of black folk. We can't have a true and meaningful dialogue about race in this nation, because if you say anything against black folk, you will be drummed out of town and out of church.
Such was the case when radio shock jock Don Imus uttered a racially derogatory comment on his show regarding the Rutgers University women's basketball team.
So I watched the basketball game last night between a little bit of Rutgers and Tennessee, the women's final.
Yeah, Tennessee won last night, 7th championship for Pat Summitt. Man, they beat Rutgers by 13 points.
That's some rough girls from Rutgers, man. They got tattoos and
some hardcore hoes.
That's some nappy-headed hoes there, I'm going to tell you that now.
Oh,
man, that's some... Ooh. And the girls from Tennessee, they all look cute, you know, so...
Within hours, the story was all over the media, and black leaders were calling for Imus to be fired. And he eventually was.
That asks for fairness. If we do wrong, we should fairly face it.
Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton were on the news circuits for weeks talking about Imus's remark. Just one more distraction from the much more consequential events happening in our world.
White people have to walk on eggshells around black people, on the job, in the church, and every place else. If you're white, You have to walk on white eggshells so that you don't offend these black people that wear their racism on their shoulder, their blackness on the shoulder, and they wear slavery on their sleeves. This has got to stop. It is hurting the black race, it is destroying the white race, and it's pulverizing our nation in terms of this relation, and we're working together united to be able to make for a greater nation.
Do you need a runner this Final Four? Because I could jump on a plane and I could be there.
You always fag out on that one for me. You know, you always say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to be the runner." Then you never show up. But I'm sure they can find a place for you. You've got all the connections in the world. You can go ahead and be a runner any place you want to.
More than 1,000 people gathered in New York on Sunday to rally against the proposed building of a mosque near the site of the September 11 attacks.
This was the top news story on the 9th anniversary of 9/11.
It's a spit in our face. Go build it uptown somewhere. Don't put it here. Of all places, don't put it here. Why do they want to put it here? I think it's just a spit in our face. I think they're laughing at us. I think Al-Qaeda's laughing at us.
Is al-Qaeda laughing at us? All 50 to 100 of them? Who knows? The elite are definitely laughing at us. America has bought every lie and fabrication these people have had to offer, and it's become easier through the years as more and more Americans have been doped up on prescription drugs, injected with mercury and aluminum, and drinking and bathing in fluoridated water. They've made your life into a virtual soap opera for you, so just enjoy it. Here's another distraction.
Here, September the 11th, International Burn a Quran Day. Actually for two reasons. Number one, we wanted to remember those who were brutally murdered on September the 11th. And actually we wanted to send a very clear message to the radical element of Islam. We wanted to send a very clear message to them that we are not interested in their Sharia law. We do not tolerate their threats, their fear, their radicalness. We live in the United States of America. We want to send a clear message. Excuse me?
I said, don't you think you could possibly do more good about bringing attention to your concerns over radical Islam by not burning the Quran on September 11th, by saying, you know what, we're going to take the higher road here. We're not going to do this.
At this time, no. I believe that we are dealing with an element that you cannot talk to. We're dealing with an element they must be shown a certain amount of force, a certain amount of determination, and putting a stop to it.
That doesn't sound like the Christianity most of us were taught, but you know what? I thank you for your time and your perspective this morning.
And in our current America, military generals can influence our rights to freedom of speech. After the pastor decided at the last minute not to burn the Koran, he was given a $180,000 bill from the Gainesville, Florida Police Department. How much longer will the American people blindly accept everything they are fed by mainstream media? Wake up! The American dream is dead. We've been lied into wars and stripped of our freedoms again and again. We came from a society where 3 brave police officers, wearing no armor, charged that tower and brought down a military-trained sniper in 1966, to setting up a command post on the school lawn and standing back while 2 crazed teenagers were left to themselves to shoot and kill as many people as possible. They use fear to make us complacent, and it's worked very well so far. So what do?
You got to stand up and not be worried about popular opinion or what people say about you or what people think about you.
The global elite are running the world. They use corporations they own and government officials they control to influence national and global policies and laws. The union of corporations and government is called fascism. That's where we are right now, and we need to get out.
You're not being kept down by the immigrants or the black guy. That's not who is your problem. Your problem is the corporation, the greedy corporation, and those people who put politicians in office who do the bidding of those corporations, who rapaciously plunder the workers' pensions, who take their jobs overseas and so forth. That's the real problem, is to convince those people who their real problem is. And their real problem is that corporations have taken over America.
And they have. Forget about that we the people nonsense. America has the very best government big money can buy. And media-driven materialism has caused millions of Americans to tumble into debt, while the big corporations have seen billions in profits every year. Meanwhile, America's infrastructure is falling apart. The Constitution and Bill of Rights have been butchered, and America is now on the list of nations who use torture. As things progressively worsen, the rulers let the dumbed-down population make a choice every few years and vote for a new candidate that promises to make everything better. And just like a Don King fight, the elite control both sides, so regardless who wins, their agenda goes forward. Then the puppet government pulls the strings on the controlled mainstream media, and the media gets its tentacles into the American people.
I will promise you this, that if we have not gotten our troops out by the time I am president, it is the first thing I will do. I will get our troops home. We will bring an end to this war. You can take that to the bank.
The Republican and Democratic parties are nothing more than two opposing wings of the same evil bird. That bird's brain is the global elite. And if the American people ever wake up and figure that out, this corrupt and illegitimate government that has crept up to enslave us will collapse like a house of cards. Just think, if we ever truly achieve real freedom for everyone, maybe we wouldn't have so much hatred and intolerance to throw around. Real freedom in America. Imagine that.